later. So and I'll just share the audio so nobody will see your faces. So back to what I was saying with the expansion right now. Inwardly, there's like this little voice that's starting to talk to us like it is time to expand our identities. And what does that mean? Who am I if I'm not my trauma? Who am I if I'm not a daughter, if I'm not a mother, if I'm not a sister, if I'm not whatever you identify yourself as in this world, all these different titles, right? Who's under there? What do you want? I always think of like the Notebook with Noah telling Allie, "What do you want?" And I feel like that's what the universe is saying. It is your time. It is your time to sit down and look within, which in winter time period, one of my favorite things that I've learned in every culture I've studied with different indigenous teachings, they've always talked about winter time being the time where we go inward, right? It's snowing outside or the weather is different. So we are indoors more often, but it's also a great time to sit down and reflect. What did we learn this year? What worked? What didn't work? What can we move forward? What can we get rid of? What can we throw away? It's a great time to think about this before we move into the springtime, because spring is where we plant our seeds, right? That's where we plant our flowers and our crops. And we want to make sure we are doing intentional planting. So the universe is really speaking to us right now about expanding this. It's also talking about emotional accountability. And these two are starting to collide. And that's what's creating this kind of, well, I don't know how to, or why do I move forward here? People are being pushed to grow past who they think they are, while the deepest emotional habits are fighting to stay in control, which in truth is your nervous system. Your nervous system is saying, oh, no, 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 no. I'm used to controlling things this way. This is what makes me feel safe in the world. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. It doesn't mean it's the smartest choice for you, right? If you've learned your whole life just to stay quiet and not shuffle any feathers, if you're being asked consciously, subconsciously now to step into your role because maybe you do have a voice and people do need to hear what you need to say, it's not going to feel correct. It's going to feel wrong. And that's because the neural pathway that you've created, whether it's, like I said, through trauma, chaos, or maybe you had a pretty simple life. Like one of my clients was just talking to me the other day. He's like, you don't understand. My childhood was great. My grandparents lived within 5 minutes of me. I could get on my bike and go see a family member. I always felt loved and supported. Like, why am I having problems right now? Everything was done for him. He never had to step out on his own and figure out how to do things for himself. So his nervous system was overwhelmed by that. You never know what it is that somebody is working through, right? Of an old pattern that is going to be broken right now. So the breakdown where I see this in the stars, we have the sun, which is our ego, right? It's who we see ourselves as, not necessarily as everyone else sees us. We have Venus, the planet of love, the one that teaches us to love ourselves and also love others, and Mars, the planet of war, the god of war, of how we're going to fight for ourselves and also fight for the greater good, all in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the sign that wants to explore. It wants to learn more. It just wants to be part of the fun. It's a fire sign. It doesn't want to be told what to do. It just wants to get out there and experience it for itself. So within all of us, that's pulling on us. And like Rach is in my astrology class and she has a whole book on herself where she's learning, where she can go look and see, oh, well, my Mars is in this sign, and my Venus is in this sign, and my Sun is in this sign. And how is that talking to Sagittarius right now, right? But in general, this energy drags truth to the surface, right? It's saying, what do you believe about yourself that limits you? Oh, I could never do that. Oh, nobody cares about me. Oh, I'm too fat to do that, or I'm too stupid to do that. What are these thoughts? Which again, I mean, Rach, you're going to get a lot of examples here because you've been in all of our classes. In our emotional intelligence class, and you guys all have access to our private Google Drive. You've had emails sent to you. If you haven't seen it clearly, please just direct message me or email me back today when I send you the email with the notes with this of how do I get into that drive if it's confusing. But in that drive, you'll see our first emotional intelligence live class where we break down our emotional intelligence, and I teach it through a program which I have a book coming out soon that I call Tea Time. And this is where we realize our thoughts for T, right? Our thoughts create our emotions, the E, right? And our emotions create our actions. So when we track down the thought, let's say your belief is your limiting belief right now is would want to listen to me anyways, right? If that was your thought, what emotion is that going to create? Worthless, sad, maybe disappointed. Identify the emotion and then realize that that emotion is creating your actions. That's why you're not moving forward. That's why you're not getting things done. So when we track those thoughts down, it's a key. You can see like, wow, I'm telling myself I'm not worth it. I'm not even trying. And what is that connected to? Who taught me this? Who showed me this? Was it a parent? Was it, society itself? This is where we want to go deeper and track this down. This is what we call mapping. We're going to go out and map that down. So that this alignment right now with what I see with Sun, Venus, and Mars and Sagittarius, it's saying, what do you believe about yourself that limits you? What are you playing small or hiding behind excuses? Like, or I should say, where are you? Where are you playing small? Or where are you hiding behind your excuses in your life, right? Um, I personally was seeing it last night, and I definitely want to hear where you're seeing this as we get through these notes and I open the space up. So think about this if you want to. But I personally, in my life, we have family coming up in 3 weeks, and I've been rearranging my house and getting things in order for stepping in to this next year because this year, I know some of you are new, but Nikki and I have, between losing his mother, I almost died with getting a huge allergic reaction to an antibiotic and then getting salmonella on top of it at the same time, and all of my organs were shutting down. I was on the cusp. They had to put me in the hospital because I almost had C. diff, which is extremely contagious and could also kill you. It was just one thing after another. And then right after I got recovered from that, Nikki had to go into surgery for his bladder, which was connected to all of the abuse he went through with being, I can say because we're not alive, but being, RAPED, from a family member for 10 years of his life that caused this damage to his bladder. So it wasn't just a simple surgery, it was also going in emotionally and figuring out where he needed to stand up for himself and what boundaries he needed to make so he could safely heal. So we've had a year where we thought we were going this way and the universe was like, and I believe all of you, when you look at your stories, you will see something similar. And why we're feeling that is because I feel like when I look at the numerology for the year, it was a year 9. That means we're at the end of a cycle here. We're wrapping up things, and now we're at the end of the year. I like to say March because astrologically, Aries is the beginning of the new year. And when you look at a lot of the cultures, like I'm Scottish, they would do festivals for the spring to start the new year. Jesus, right? Even Christianity as a reverend, when I look at that, when was he resurrected? In the spring. It's the beginning. It often represents that. So I like to think we have till March, right? The end of winter to really wrap these things up. But that's the pressure we're all feeling. Like anything you've been avoiding is now coming to the surface. So The other question I see here from this lineup is where do you pretend you're fine you're fine when you're actually exhausted? So yesterday I was when I was writing these notes for you guys, that brought up a big one for me and I just saw Amy go, yeah, I realized I was telling people in my life like, listen, I don't have, I care about you and I love you, but I don't have extra capacity in my energy field right now to take this on. Like, especially because I'm not seeing this family member taking the time to actually like look at it within themselves. They're just like dumping on me. And then I give a solution and then they're like, oh, no, no, no. And I'm like, I can't be in this cycle right now because I could tell they're in the space where they don't want to hear it yet. They're not ready. It doesn't mean they're not going to, but when I see that now, that's my signal of like they need more time with it. They need to sit and let it process. And I explained to them, and I'll explain to you as well, if you have this in your life or it's you, like you want the answers, but it doesn't seem to be coming. A shaman taught me if you sit with it, give it at least 3 days. 3 days. See if you feel the same in 3 days about this thing that's causing such anxiety, right? It was like today I'm a soccer coach and my mom wanted to come see the game this morning and she's like, I'm running late. Oh, now your father wants to come too. I'm gonna be late. It's even later now. Then she's like, did the game start on time? And she's having anxiety the whole way there, right? And that anxiety did was worthless basically by the time she got to the game because we were late and there ended up being a huge penalty that gave time so she got to make it to most of the game, but that energy that you're exhausting the whole way there because you're losing control basically is what we want to look at. So if you're not slowing down and going into this like this question, where do you pretend you're fine when you're actually exhausted, and saying, do I have energy to go here? And if the answer is no, that's okay. People might get upset. That's also okay. People are allowed to have emotions. I'm sure you've been disappointed when people said no to you. But guess what? You usually go and figure it out, don't you? You find a way to handle whatever it is and things end up working out. So always remember that if you're a fixer like I am, um, you're probably trying to make sure everybody else feels comfortable over your own needs. The universe right now is saying no. That habit, that pattern is not going to work where we're moving anymore. So we need to really take a look at ourselves and know that it's okay to say no. My one of my kids today on my team played goalie and he hasn't played goalie in a long time and we're in the indoor game and it's a whole nother beast and he comes off, I suck, I'm horrible, this was so bad, why'd you put me in there? And I was like, no, 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 you are not horrible. This is a new game that you've never played before. It moves so much faster. And think about it, it had to get through everybody else to get to you. So don't sit here and beat up on yourself. You did great, right? And he had to take a deep breath and retell his nervous system. It's the same thing we have to do with ourselves. We have to coach ourselves. We have to catch these thoughts and talk back. Those thoughts are the old nervous system. I suck. I can't do this. Nothing ever works out. It's always my fault. Whatever these old thoughts that I want you to slow down and catch, we're going to talk back to those now and we're going to show them the new way. And this is what we're mapping out right now because Sagittarius itself strips false identities. It's gonna burn it away. It's gonna say, this isn't you. You learned this because you watched mom do it and you took it on. You're like, oh, well, mom does this, so I'm gonna do it this way too. Oh, mom loses her crap every single time, the holidays come in and because she needed everything perfect. And so I learned to do that too. Nope, we're not doing that pattern anymore. That doesn't help my body and it certainly doesn't help anyone else around. How can I regulate, right? Which is the second step in emotional intelligence. First step, awareness. Second step, how can I regulate it? What is the new habit? And I highly recommend giving yourself patience in this time because, I'm 39 years old and it took me 39 years to learn this habit, right? Maybe 35 is when I started catching on to it, but took me a long time to really create this habit inside me. So when I catch it, you're already doing better. You have an awareness around it. So say, you know what? I caught that way faster than I did last time, and I'm proud of myself. What can I do to improve and keep building on this to step into this new role that you spiritually are ready to do? Maybe not consciously, maybe not mentally, but your soul is ready. Your soul knew what it was doing. That's what I love about astrology is it's kind of like a map to your soul. It's kind of like what you before you came down here, and I learned this in indigenous cultures too, is they say it as before you came down, you chose your parents and you said, this is what I need to get me to this space. Even you, Lilia, right? I picked Russia. I came to Russia to learn something, to see something. What can I take from that? I can get rid of the rest, right? I don't like what they do with this. I don't like what they do with that. But I also see these positive things. Where can I use that energy? And you work with that. It's
Yeah.
just like cleaning, spring cleaning. We get rid of what we don't need and we move forward with the next energy.
Hmm.
So the next part I see is the moon and Jupiter today are both in Cancer. So the moon moves every couple days, but I thought that was interesting because this is hitting a mother wound right now. This energy that it's activating, attachment patterns, safety is another thing that could be coming up right now. And emotional hunger. Like, I just need to talk to somebody. I just need to be with somebody. There's this energy that's kind of pulling us with that. And what it's exposing is, why do I need so much reassurance? Nikki actually had that moment with me yesterday because he's like, because we got into a disagreement about something, and he goes, how can you just walk off and be comfortable with yourself and totally just work through the emotions and then come back to me calmly? He's like, because I'm having, I can't connect the dots and I feel like I need to come talk to you about it. But consciously, I also realize I should feel safe enough to be by myself and process these emotions. But what is it? And I said, it's in the stars right now. That's why I brought this up particularly, because it's pulling that to the surface right now. It's saying, why am I sabotaging? Like specifically like around intimacy, because Cancer is the mothery sign. It's the one that brings everybody together, but also can hide all of its feelings. Like if you think of our mothers, right, especially with generations right now, we're trying to break this generation pattern where the mother just puts the mask on and everything's fine, everything's good, while everything just keeps piling on our shoulders. And then what happens? And that's whether you're a mom or not. Women in general, we learn to just keep taking everything on. So this combination right now is saying, no, why do I sabotage when I need to be loved? Like my mom's like, I don't get me any Christmas presents. I don't want to get any Christmas presents. Don't give me Christmas presents. And I said, Mom, the part of a gift, if somebody finds something special for you and they want to give it to you, it's not a negative thing for you to learn to receive love. Somebody took the time to think about you. Somebody, like, especially me, I got these things that I know she's gonna love. It's like she loves gardening, and I got this thing to put in the window that says my special garden, and it's all her grandchildren's names with their flowers to their birthday. And I know she's gonna love it in her window. And I can't wait to see when she opens it how much she's gonna love it. And this part of like, don't spend money on me is connected to her low self-esteem. Like, it's, you also need to learn to accept love right now and let people love you the way they want to love you. Don't control that too. Don't push people away. Okay, so that's coming up in different ways. Again, you might see it within yourself, or you might see it, especially with another woman in your life somewhere. Just be aware of that energy. Another one, why do I feel safer in a fantasy versus reality, right? This space of like, we can make something Like I know I've talked about this before too, but I'm being an Aries moon. Fire signs in general make everything like kind of romantic and very exciting. So Christmas is coming. My brother, I got tickets for him in September at a really good price. He's flying in. Never have had him here at Christmas with all the like my mom's grandkids. So she's super excited. We're flying him in. I'm making extra room for everybody in the house. And I am just like, oh my God, we could do this and we could do this. And my son, who's a Aries moon with me, he's all excited. And I had to stop us. I was like, listen, we are in our like romantic, like fantasy world right now that might come true. But I also need to prepare myself that if plans change, that's okay. There could be something even more beautiful that comes from it that I'm not even thinking of. Let things organically happen. So why do we feel excited to be in that fantasy world and we can get all excited, but we can't also get excited the same way with reality? That's another question that's coming to the par right now. Another question I see within this, and again, you'll get all these in your notes, and I want you to take time with them when you have more time to sit with yourself to go through these. But I'm not going to have you guys answer these right now, but I want you to look at them when you go through the notes. And if you're listening to this, it will be on the private Facebook group page above the video. So the other question I see is, why does conflict feel like an abandonment? This one has been a big one in our house with my children and with Nikki and myself. And that's why I sat down and looked at this, not only for this group, but I do it for myself too, of like, what is coming up right now? And abandonment is a big one of like, you don't even care about me. You don't even want to listen to me. And instead of slowing down and going, um, is this something I should be bringing to this person right now? Is there something more I need to do individually here to understand myself? Um, is the person busy and I'm not taking time to think about them? Or for Nikki, the interesting one that came up was he is realizing that being a parent is a real selfless act. I have the three older boys. My oldest is 15, and then we have a 13 and 11-year-old. And I also have my degree in early child education and worked with kids for all these years. So I have a grasp. And when I was pregnant with Ava, he told me, he's like, oh, I'm going to have so much time to meditate and I'll take time for myself and I'll make sure I stay grounded. And I laughed so hard. And he goes, it's not funny. Why are you laughing at me? It's not funny. And I was like, I'm not necessarily laughing at you. I'm laughing that every parent, at some point thinks like, oh yeah, I can do this. I'll work it out. I'll find a way to squeeze them in. But then you realize that things happen that are out of your control. And yes, maybe you're not going to get all that time for yourself. And I said, so I told him, I was like, if anything, now you can join in that laugh when you hear another new parent someday go, oh, everything's going to be butterflies and sunshine. And I'm so excited. There's much more, in my opinion, of beauty that comes out of these moments. But in the moment, yes, it's hard when you just want to go take a nap and the baby's not going to sleep right now and the teenagers are arguing and we got to make dinner and all this other stuff that you have to tell yourself no at that moment. And it is a big adjustment. But when people are telling him no, it feels like an abandonment, which also is connected to other old wounds. So that's where you can take time and look at that. I got three more notes on this, and then we're going to get into the questions. The next part I see, because last part I want to say on that part is Cancer brings the emotional truth to you that Sagittarius is not able to override right now. So that feeling of like, I just want to move past this. Oh, I'll deal with it later, which by the way, this is what creates shadow work, that I want to deal with it later. We put that in the subconscious. Some of us even lock it in like a room with like 15 locks and go, I don't know if I'll ever get to that. But the problem is when we don't deal with it at that moment, that's where that shadow work starts building up because it's hiding in the shadows. Those issues are still there. They weren't dealt with. And if that room that you keep shoving everything in, ever put anything too much in a closet, and then you open the door and you're like, oh my God, right? You can control, you can put things in the closet, but let's try to not put more than two things and also make sure that we're taking time, whether it's like with Nikki and I in this class, we give you guys different questions and journaling stuff to do to take that time and really dig in, like start finding those answers to those questions when you have time. And if you're not finding time, find time. You always can find time. I bet you, all of you can say yes to me that if your kid came and said, oh my God, I need you right now, or say, a best friend, if you don't have children, I need you right now, you would drop everything and you would find time for them. Am I right? So let's call you your best friend now. And your best friend is now at the door saying, I need you. You need to drop some things to go answer that door. And you need to talk to her right now. You need to start bringing these to the surface. And that's where I am here. You guys all have, there's different specials going on right now, but also you get the membership discounts. That was also sent in the emails. And again, if you're not seeing them, just write me. You're not bugging me like, hey, I do need help with digging this. Now this coming up and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Get space. Give yourself space. And you are plenty capable of doing it for yourself too. And it's amazing when you trust yourself and you start sitting down, but also don't be afraid to ask for help. The way that I look at it is I'm holding space for you. I'm going to put a big old bubble around you and say, you can say whatever you want right now. You can scream whatever you want right now. There's no way you can hurt anybody's feelings. I want you to say your truth and get it out loud. So that way we can start talking to it and we can start having a conversation and we can start healing and we can start letting go of what no longer is needed. But you don't know what it is until you say it out loud or you write it down and really take the time to process. Processing is so important and it might take you a week. Sometimes it might take you a day. The more and more I work on it, when things come up, sometimes I can work through it within an hour the more I practice this. The problem is we weren't ever taught as a child how to do this. And it feels shameful. It feels bad, but it's not. It's actually the best gift this holiday season you can give yourself. Okay. So you choose what path is best for you and know that it is the right one. Mercury in Scorpio is also very interesting. We just got out of a retrograde, which retrograde is nothing more than, when you're driving on the car on the streets and a car passed you, let's say this is Earth and this is Mercury. All that just happened in the retrograde was Earth drove by Mercury and it looks like Mercury is going backwards. But just like if you drive by a car, right, it looks like it's going backwards, but it's really not, it's still going forward. That's what a retrograde is. But what it creates is a pull between the planets. Just like the moon, nurses will tell you it gets really crazy at the hospital and everything. It creates a pull. So Mercury is the planet of communication. And currently it is in Scorpio. So Scorpio loves to dig deep. So we're digging deep around how we're talking to ourselves, how we're talking to others. And this is the shadow mind activation right now. It's going to naturally bring up those old triggers to see if you need to work on anything else or to even have a moment of like, dang, that would have really triggered me before. Look how I responded to that. I am so proud of myself. Like, again, how are we talking to ourselves? So people suddenly hear their own intrusive thoughts much louder right now with Scorpio here. And, I always say to my kids, that's an intrusive thought that we could keep inside right now. Like, that's not we need to say out loud. But catch that intrusive thought. And why am I having that thought? Where is that coming from? And old resentments, shame stories, like how you felt shamed as a child or feeling shame at all. Betrayal will come up here anywhere, like old memories. I mean, we're coming into holidays. There can be real emotions around the holidays when we're seeing those family members that maybe never apologized or are never accountable, right? So it brings that betrayal energy up. Because it's Scorpio, it can also be connected to relationships and like sexual memories too. That's very natural and normal with this. And our power wounds will rise, right? Like how we thought we kept in control and how we kept power. Is that working for you anymore? Is that actually helping you, or is there a different way we can approach this, right? So it forces you to confront the stories that shaped your behavior. That's all it's doing. And remember, these are things from the past. Whenever I do shadow work with you, or if you go through a journey with me where I hold 2 hours for us to go into your subconscious, I'll do it through Reiki, or we can do it through kind of a visualization meditation that I lead you through. When we do a deep dive like that, what you're going to be able to do is start seeing stories like or situations pop up, and you're able to look at them and go, wow, that's how I thought about it when I was a child, because I didn't have the information I have now. I had to go through this to understand it. Like a real simple example here is, again, if you're a parent, you have one of those moments where you just want to take your child and like, oh, like I've repeated this 100 times. Why is it so hard? For me, I have a shadow moment there when I look at it and I go, oh, that's why my mom just like had to walk away or was I don't want to do it the way she did it, but now I get it. Now I see what she was battling, and maybe she didn't have the right tools. Maybe she doesn't have the right energy to practice that, but I do. I'm going to learn a new way. And this is where we start that new talk, and that's shadow work in itself. It's just having the realization and bringing in all the new perspectives. Because if you think about it, if you went through something when you were, let's say, 13 or 14 years old, and nobody talked to you about it, you didn't feel safe enough to go to anybody about it. You just kept it inside and kept pushing it down, right? It's still there, it's still there. And what ends up happening is it comes out other ways. But this is where you take your power back. When you go back to that 13 and 14-year-old, and this is a shadow work, and you go and talk to her and she complains to you and she tells you everything that happened and how painful it was and how, okay, yes, but I'm going to show you some new perspectives that I've learned as an adult now that I wasn't aware. Mom wasn't angry at you. Mom was overwhelmed. Mom had bills to pay. Mom was dealing with this. Mom was doing that. Mom had abusive parents too. So she wasn't able, I'm just saying an example. She wasn't able to comprehend anything that you're comprehending right now because you've had the opportunity to learn new tools. Mom was walking around with this pencil trying to put a nail in the wall, right? And what Nikki and I are doing, what you yourself are doing, because you are the one who's truly healing yourself, is you're going around going, oh my God, I've been using this pencil. Mom, geez, poor mom, like she had to deal with that. That's going to give me some empathy for mom. She can also learn just like I am, but I'm not in charge of that. I don't have power to control her in that. But I can learn what a hammer is. I can give myself time and learn how to use this hammer, give myself grace, give myself patience, and I can grow. And maybe mom will see that example, maybe she won't. But I'm not going to go into the expectations of what mom should do anymore. I'm going to go into the expectations of what I need to do. Okay. So I see that with Mercury right now, with it's forcing those comfort zones, and it's saying like this behavior that shaped you before it's not going to work if you want to use new timeline, new, brand new year in numerology. We're going into a 1 year. If you want to look even again like in astrology, like we are moving into A lot of things are moving into Aries energy after the new year, which is the beginning of something. Like we are charging. And so take this time, like, wow, I have time. Like I say this to myself, I have time to process this right now. Like I'm making excuses of why not to do it. This has nothing to do with anyone else. I have a grace period here to look at these things so they don't show up later. That's why I love astrology. Like if I look at Mercury retrograde, right, that just happened, when I looked at it before it started, I was like, oh, my Mercury is going to be in the sixth house. It's going to be challenging my routines. It's going to say, does this routine work anymore? Because a retrograde always means review, renew, rewrite it, rethink it, give yourself that opportunity. So that leads us into Saturn, which is the planet of karma. Saturn is, and yeah, I saw your face, Amy, and I know Rach knows this because I always try to say, we hear the word karma and we're like, oh God. But karma works both ways. I like to think of it as a bank account. You can be writing a check into the Saturn karma check bank account, right? And you can be like, okay, I learned my lesson here. I've been working through this. I see what I'm accountable for and I see what other people are accountable, and I'm going to work on what I'm accountable for. You may, and I have a belief with all of you because you're here right now. You've been working on that side for a while. When things come up, you're working on you, and that's all that karma, that Saturn is asking for. But I'm sure there's parts of you that are aware when we go, I know it's the right thing to do, but I don't want to do it. Like it's too hard to step into that right now. That's where we take like a loan from Saturn, right? And Saturn's coming back around and saying, okay, some of you have some debts to pay. And all that means is you need to sit down and you need to think about what you want. Like I said at the beginning, what direction are you going? When you sit down and only you're not talking to anybody else, what do you want to see for your life? Not what society wants, not what your children not what your husband wants, not what your best friend wants, not what your employer wants. What do you want? What feels peaceful to you? And how do you create that? And yes, you're going to have to make some compromises. But there is a way that you can find more peace for yourself because you've probably been giving that away more than anything else. And the one thing that I learned when I started this about 5 years ago and starting to say no to people, which was very hard, I noticed people started doing better. They would start, like my mom, we just got back. I wasn't talking to her for a whole year. It wasn't about her. It was about me. I needed to step away to hear my own voice, not always fixing her problems, not always fixing my dad's problems. I needed to go inward and fix my own. I needed to know what those were. I didn't even have time. So I took that time to heal myself, and it was very hard at the beginning. But I was pointing out to my mom, in that time, yes, you were angry that we weren't around, but I see you got your diabetes in check. I see that you lost all your weight that you've been wanting to do, because why? She had more time for herself. So within that, there was even a blessing with that. It was letting go of that control. So Saturn, the planet of karma, Neptune, the planet of illusions, our dreams, is working with our North Node, which our North Nodes are, I always call it like Peter Pan. It's the direction we're going. Each one of us have a different direction in our chart. But as a global part, these three are working together saying, all right, how have you been doing on yourself? Are you getting to the dreams that you've been wanting? Are you checking off some of those things, or are you still hiding behind illusions? And let's look at these things so we can go in the direction we were destined to go in. And it's in Pisces right now, and it won't be there for about February, March. It's going to start moving into Aries, all three of these. But Pisces is the planet of spirituality, intuition. It's the end of a cycle as well. It's the very last sign of the astrology chart. So again, it's giving us the symbol like things are wrapping up here. So trust yourself, love yourself, go into it because this is a spiritual boundary lesson. People are learning, where do I dissolve myself to keep the peace? Where do I just, you know what? Where do Siri's trying to answer me? Where do I just say, you know what? Like it could be the simplest things. The other day for me, my mother-in-law was coming for Thanksgiving and I go into the laundry room, which is my oldest son's chore. And I hadn't been in there for a week because I was getting things organized. And I go to my laundry and I walk out. I can't even walk out there. And I'm like, what? And so I instantly go into panic mode, right? Oh, see, this is why I got to do things myself. Old pattern, right? Nobody does it the way I do it. It's better done when I do it. These are all the old thoughts, and I see them start popping up. But then I go, no, 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 no. That is not the pattern. What we need to do is sit down and ask why things aren't being done and see what their blocks are so they can get their job done and I can get back to what I'm supposed to do. And so that part of where do I keep the peace, instead of just going out and doing it yourself, that's keeping the peace so nobody else feels upset or overwhelmed, right? Is that really helping my children if I just go clean the whole laundry room and I don't teach them how to do their chore? Right. And it also keeps peace for myself in a way, right? By saying, now I don't have to deal with the arguing or have to have a long conversation. I just got it done. But in the end, I'm exhausted. I'm tired because while I'm doing that, I'm not doing the other things I need to do, which I will still go do. And that means I lose sleep, I lose everything else. So where are you sitting down in your life right now and saying, you know what? I'm just going to dissolve myself here to keep the peace. Another question that comes up with this is, where do I betray my truth before I fear loss? What is your truth? If I tell you my truth, are you going to leave me? That's a big one, right? If I show you who I truly am, are you going to leave me? That means you're putting more power to the person or the situation over what your own needs are. That's a red flag right there. That's a red flag. It doesn't mean you need to be all your way. There can be compromise, but you better make sure part of your voice is in that conversation and what your needs are. Where do I confuse intuition with fantasy or trauma with destiny? Right? I can't get this done because things never go right for me. You can't get your dreams because things never go right. It always falls. When's the shoe going to fall? Oh, right. Ever have that feeling where it was like, oh, I'm going to get it. Something exciting's about to happen. And like, oh, and you just have that fear in the back of like, oh, the shoe's going to fall anytime now. Something's not going to go right. That's your trauma speaking. You can't prove that. What does Nikki always say? Prove it to me. Prove it to me that it's not going to go right. If you're stuck in that space, the next step is, how can I prove it to myself that it could go right? How about I stay focused on that conversation versus everything goes wrong in my life? Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Amy. So that's another big one. So I wanted to get into the conversation too with Pluto plus the rising right now, where the rising sign is, it's in Aquarius today. And I thought that was interesting because coming out of this full moon, the collective, like as humans on this planet, all of us connected one way or another, the collective nervous system is in a total rewrite. It's and this is in our government again. This is in our internal families. This in our cities. I mean, we're seeing it's becoming more and more obvious of like what is not working. So what are we going to do about it? And it's time to start rewriting that. People are waking up to their real identities, what you were always meant to be, and not being ashamed of that either, because your voice matters. One of the first things that led me, to become a reverend, when I came from a dad who was Catholic, who like basically had no belief in religion or anything anymore because of what the Catholic religion did to him. And then my mom, her father was Jewish, my grandma was Christian, and she studied Buddhism. So I had like the full culture, like of learning all of these perspectives, which I saw a lot of commonality between. But when we look at those real identities, right? Even when I'm looking at, well, am I Jewish because of my grandpa, or am I, Catholic because my grandma's Catholic, or am I Christian? Like more, like I couldn't connect to religion at all. But I did go to a youth group with my cousin, and the pastor was talking about how we're all part of the body. Every single one of us matter, right? Whether if you're the thumb and you're like, I have no purpose here and I better go. How, as the body, are we going to be able to grab things with you missing? We need you. You are perfectly designed. Perfectly designed. And people probably shamed you. This is why I came out with my mean girl astrology. People probably shamed you for the things that you naturally are. And that was part of the test. No one told you, right? People told me I was bossy. People told me I was controlling. People told me that, well, my favorite one was like, God, I always thought you were such a bitch, but then once I got to know you, you're just a sweet little teddy bear. Like people were reading me from the outline. When I started learning my astrology and I learned about my Aries moon and my emotions, oh yeah, it can seem very controlling. I tell every fire sign to have a suggestion box. People aren't telling you what to do. They're telling you, here's an idea. You can take it or leave it, right? But my control and my bossiness always, from my perspective, actually came from a place of love. I just wanted the very best for people. I tried to control the situation so people, it came from my trauma, so people could feel safe and not feel overwhelmed. And I was good at doing it. But that's also, it's that double-edged sword, right? If I'm fixing everything, then I'm not taking care of myself. But my control isn't also necessarily a bad thing, too. I can ask, do you need help? I'm very good at this. I can help you with that. If they say no, then I can let it go. I offered it. I did what I could. They're making their choice, and that's where they're at, and that's okay. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to fall, but I've fallen a lot. And I don't know about you guys. I've learned a lot on my falling. I'm watching my daughter learn to walk right now, and she's falling a lot. But you know what? She's getting better and better each day. She's walking more smoothly and faster. And that's the same thing you're doing with your emotions. So learn whatever those things were that you got criticized for and see where the strength is also in them. Like if you're meant to be in charge, maybe it's not going and screaming at everybody. Maybe it's walking in the room silence and letting them feel your power. And then let them come to you to ask a question and then you lead. Right? Because you know you're going to care about everyone else. Learn where your strength is. So right now, like I said, people are waking up to their real identity, not the one their families trained them to play. It's becoming more and more obvious. Like, my mom and my dad told me to be quiet. They told me to be seen and not heard. That doesn't work for me. I need to know what my balance. Start playing with it. Start checking it out. See what works, what doesn't work. You're not doing anything wrong by doing that. It's going to feel like it's activating a rebellious person inside you, right? But that's again why I came up with this mean girl astrology. Like, go be that mean girl. Figure out, like, you're not actually mean, right? Like, especially for us women, I wanted to have this conversation because we watch men walk in a room and just do whatever they want, right? And no problems at all. But we go to do it. One of the most fascinating times, like, it's kind of a side note on this, is one of my friends, my dad's friends, grew up with him as a man, transitioned. and was in charge of a political party here in Nevada. And I went to one of the meetings and I see the long hair, I see the makeup, but it's masculine energy. Like just running the room, no regrets, nothing. And it was kind of a cool perspective to see as a female of like, we could run the room like that and not feel any regrets either. How do I get there? And I started watching her and how she would just come in and go, all right, do this. Like she didn't, there wasn't, oh, was I too bossy? There was no thought about that at all. It's who she is. It's who you are. So find that boss lady, find that rebel, find that, part of you that you think nobody else likes, and go see the positive parts of it and start working on that part. Okay. So Aries and Chiron is my last note here. Chiron is our wounded warrior. Chiron is this big old asteroid out in the asteroid belt that is bigger than Earth. So they think it used to be part of another planet at some point. So that's why they call it the wounded warrior in astrology. And NASA thinks it was part of another planet, but it also pulls on us because it's so big. And so Chiron being in Aries, Aries being the god of war, it's saying no more bullshit. We got something to handle and it's time. You can do this. I believe in you. And it's calling you out. It's pulling it to the surface. So that wound of self-worth and self-identity, it's bringing up like, why do I attack myself? Why do I call myself stupid? Why do I call myself slow? Why do I call myself fat? Why do I call myself worthless? Why do I not speak up for myself? It's asking that part of like, why are you attacking yourself? Catch those thoughts and start finding the answers. Why do I feel behind? Where does what does real confidence feel like? And where did I learn I'm only valuable when I perform for everybody else? I'm only valuable if I get up and I keep the house clean and I do the dishes and I take care of everybody else's needs today. I'm not valuable if I'm having a hard day. And even though I can see I can lay in bed and everything will be fine, things will work out. But why do I feel guilty about taking care of myself? Okay. So this avoidant part, right? Feeling cornered, feeling like your space is being invaded by emotions that you can't numb anymore, suddenly aware of how often you detach, right? Like I've been watching people all around me doing the like staring off thing, and you're like, hello, hello, like I'm right here. Why aren't we talking? And they're just like zoning out. That is happening right because that's the old pattern. Start noticing when you're doing it and go, whoa, what am I zoning out about? Because that zoning out is helping you stay in control. It's an old pattern. So what are these coping strategies that aren't working anymore? Even people who, turn to alcohol and drugs. I have many clients that are in like AA and stuff, and they're like, I have no choice but to face this now, or I'm going to lose my whole life. Like they're having to, all of us are in different ways right now, but we have to face this. Which is bringing up this anxious part in us, right? Feeling hypersensitive to what people are saying, overthinking, fear of rejection, abandonment of, if we bring up our old wounds, the perfectionist is showing up. They, exposes what you're actually feeling. The mask is cracking. Nikki yesterday, when we were having our little disagreement, he said 3 things I had never heard him say before, like out of frustration. And I slowed him down and I'm like, wow, I'm really glad. How long have you been holding on to that one? Because we need to talk about that. Like, and he didn't even realize he said it. And it's because these things are cracking and it's leaking out of us. And that's also why you want to put yourself around people that want your best. Like, Nikki, I might have been frustrated with him at that moment, but I also want only the best for him. So when he said that, I was like, oh, there's the truth. There's the juice. Let's pull that one to the surface. And his was, I'm not a good dad, right? Like the boys don't want me around. And all of us are like, what? But it was connected to that self-worth. He's putting more like what's the word, like responsibilities on himself, like the fact that he needs to make everything perfect for him because his life wasn't perfect as a child. He's putting too much pressure on himself. We love him for who he is, just like I love all of you guys for who you are, right? So talk to that perfectionist, right? The one that's trying to be strong, and doesn't want to drop any of the roles. Sometimes you got to drop a role. I'm not going to be mom today. I've told my kids I don't know what it is. It's something inside me, but I need you guys. Like, I'll do the bare necessities, but if you could cover this and you can cover that, I need to have a day to just go do nothing and figure out what is going on inside me so I don't take it out on you. Communication is key. It's also triggering that performer, it's hitting that identity crisis. Success doesn't soothe the inner wound anymore. Like, you get what you want by forcing it. It's not going to feel rewarding anymore. It's going to still feel like you're not completed. It's because you forced yourself through it. We want to see the flow. That's what we're looking for now. If it's not flowing, then it's not ready to step into that space yet. So that can create that feeling of restlessness, directionless. Like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to face this. That creates that same emotion. And then the empath and the healer, you're going to feel more energetically overloaded right now. You're going to feel like boundaries are becoming non-negotiable. And that one's the big one. Like, the other day, like, again, this family member just went off and I told him to get out of the car. I was like, there is a Taco Bell right there. You can go sit. I have to go take my daughter to the pediatrician right now. And I don't even want to walk into the pediatrician because of this. And it had nothing to do with me. It was just like this dump. And then they're breaking down and crying. I'm like, I do not want to ignore your emotions, but this is now overstimulating me. Like, there is no way in the world that I can now put on a mask, my old mask of like, everything's fine. There's no way I could walk into my kid's pediatrician appointment with them there with me, still sensing the energy and pretending like everything's fine so I could focus on my daughter. It wasn't going to happen. And my son could not believe it. He's like, you just let him out the car? And I said, I'm sorry that I can't. It will not, there's something in me now. It's not going to allow it. I cannot put their needs over Ava's. I'm not putting the needs over mine. And I'm certainly not putting over yours either. They need to go sit with themselves and they need to go figure out what it is. I'm there for them once they can start identifying, or in a space and time when I have time. That was not the moment. So later on, when we picked up at home, then we were able to have the conversation in a much calmer space. And I was able to hold that space for them then when I had energy to. Check your energy field. I'm telling you, think of it like a gas tank or a battery on your phone. I know Rach has heard this one before too, but if I tune in with myself and I'm below 60%, the answer is now no. Because what am I pulling the energy from? I have nothing to pull it from except for myself. And then that's when I get sick. That's when my body breaks down. That's when I feel tired. And then I'm no good for anybody. So the answer is no. And they don't like it because I used to fix everything for everyone. My grandma literally told me, you cannot do this. You fix everything. And when you do that, everything falls apart. Why was all of it put on me in the first place? That's the real question. I'm not the only member in this family. I'm actually one of the youngest in the family, and you, my grandmother, are telling me not to do it anymore. Like, I can't just walk away and take care of me to keep taking care of all of you. Do you hear what you're saying? This is how we need to you're retraining those thoughts. Why are we saying no to ourselves to take care of everyone else? Okay. So, bottom line with this transit, it's pushing you to let go of those survival identities. It's saying stop protecting your wounds with your personality. with your mask, right? Tell the truth to yourself first and foremost. What do you really need? Stop making the pain, like, oh, well, I did it for them so that way they feel better, but it's okay. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm always fine. I always work through it. We're not doing that anymore. And move towards emotional maturity instead of emotional comfort. Okay. Move towards that emotional maturity instead of emotional comfort. The emotional comfort is every time I feel my emotional comfort come up, I'm like, that's my nervous system. It's used to that because that's what made me safe, but I'm no longer in survival. I am now in thriving mode. What do I need right now to thrive? And how can I compromise? Like, where do I have energy to work with what others need in my life? But other than that, this is my boundary. Make your boundaries clear for yourself first and foremost before you go out to the world. So that way you can stand in it firmly. So the first question I want you to sit with, um, and this is where if you feel comfortable, I would like you to share. If not, you don't have to. If you're all quiet, I'll just take that as the no's. We'll move to the next question. But I want you to take 5 minutes right now, and I want you to answer this question. What part of your personality is actually a survival mechanism you no longer need? And I'll paste it in the comments because my notes finally came up. But I want you to sit with it for 5 minutes. What part of your personality is actually a survival mechanism you no longer need? I want you to call it out. I want you to bring it to the surface. And there's no wrong answer here. Sometimes the littlest ones that seem so stupid are the biggest ones. So sit down. I just put it in the comment if you're more of a visual person and need to see the words yourself. But take 5 minutes and I'll just mute so that way you have a moment of silence, okay? Okay, see, reaches green. I mean, you both can still keep going, but I wanted to show you if you were working with me, which I'm going to give you responses to whatever you say to me right now, um, in your email. So I am going to write it down in my notes so that way you get a little bit more work to do in this space, um, on your own. But I want to show you. Mhm. Okay. Before I want to break down how it's showing how it showed up for me when I answered this question because I do the work too. And I'm not just expecting you guys to. I think it's really powerful to take time and do stuff like this all the time. I used to love this one shaman. I was like, it's so weird, like for me to come and get like healing work done with you and do some work when I'm supposed to be a leader in this. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like our bodies are like cars. Like we all need a tune up every 6 to 8, weeks or every 3,000 miles. So you're coming in for your tune up. Everybody needs it. We're all the same in that area. So what came up for me in this space, and I can't wait to hear yours, was needing to be right. That one was a big one for me. And so what that means psychologically, it's keeping me from receiving. I must be right. Um, I can't take in new information. I can't accept support at that time or help. I'm blocking nourishment because being open feels dangerous at that moment. It traps me into a hypervigilance. It scans every tone of voice when I'm in that, when I need to be right about something. Um, like I can't take any other answer or hear anybody else's perspective. I'm now looking for tones. I'm looking for words that are threatening. I'm tuning into every conversation and making it into a battle where my identity is on the line. Because if I'm wrong, like what does that really mean? Right? Like what what does that mean? But a lot of us as children, like making mistakes is very bad, right? And so it makes relationships feel like a test when I'm in that space, instead of connection, instead of evaluation, instead of just curiosity, instead of I don't know, but like it creates me to feel pressure. It makes me stop listening at that point too. I'm already ready to respond whenever they're because I'm in that hypervigilance mode now. I'm ready to fight. So I start defending everything too. And this really does prevent any type of intimacy where, when I need to be right, I can't be vulnerable at that moment. I can't say I don't know. I can't say I'm hurt. I can't say I need you because that would all be weakness when I'm stuck in that moment. So it keeps me in the past. I'm not arguing with the person really anymore in front of me either. Especially for me, it reminds me of my father when because I've still to this day, I've never heard my dad say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, even though he forced me to say it my whole life. But it puts me into that trauma space and I'm aware of it now and I feel it. That's when I'm like, I need to walk away, take a deep breath because I want to have this conversation. So I need to go reboot real fast. And it literally does starve feminine energy when you're in that space of like, I have to be right. Like there's no other way here. There's no other solution. Like, even remember this when you're like getting things set up for the holidays. Like, if you're in charge of making the family dinner, it has to go this way. This is the tradition. This is the way we've always done it, right? And it was funny at Thanksgiving, my brother called and he goes, oh, none of the kids wanted Thanksgiving food. So we just did Italian food. And my mom was like, what? You just let them control you. And I'm like, if nobody else really wanted it, you don't have to have, they're all together. That's the main reason, right? And they're all enjoying the food. Why does it have to be turkey every time? Like we can, my mom, like her nervous system didn't know what to do with that. That's part of that, like needing to be right. It has to be this way. So it blocks growth for me when I'm in that space. Being right creates a closed identity. It must be right. You can't become someone new. Healing requires flexibility, not perfectionism. So the deep truth here for me, I was like, I have a shield when I put up I need to be right. And it protects the younger version of myself who had no power, but now I have power. And the adult in me doesn't really need the shield anymore. And the shield is nothing but a cage for me now. It's just keeping me trapped inside. So the question that I came up with that, and like I said, I'm going to write down yours and I'm going to send another question for you to go even deeper to map this out and track it. For me was, when did I first learn that being wrong meant I would not be safe? And that's where I was like, it was my dad, because I could never see, he could never be accountable and be wrong. So he taught me that it was a weakness and that you would get hurt from it. So I was able to slow down and place my hand on my throat chakra. And I told myself, I am safe when I listen. I am safe when when I'm soft and vulnerable. I am safe when I just don't know. It's okay not to know. And I let myself breathe through that. So now I want to hear yours, and I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm going to write down what you came up with, what I hear. And I might also read into it because I can see energy around all of you. And then, like Rachel, I have her astrology chart, so I can always dig even deeper. But I want to hear what you have, and I'll send it in your email today with these notes. I'll also put in the breakdown, like how I just did it for myself too. So, does someone want to share with us what came up for them? You could just raise your hand. Amy? Okay, we'll go with Amy and then we'll do Lilia.
The need to make sure everyone's always safe, happy, and healthy at my own expense. I literally give people the keys to the bus to drive me over. Maybe too adaptable to situations, leaving no form of self-identity or structure.
Huh, that was good. I can tell you've been working on this. So, the need to make sure that everybody else feels comfortable over yours, basically. Okay. So when you break that down, like I want to ask you too, where did that first come up for you?
It's been like that from childhood.
Who was the first person that like really delivered this message? To me, it's always like an email, right? Our brain got this message from somebody, and at some point we opened the email and probably accepted the virus with it. There's some part that at some age you accepted that as truth. Who taught you that?
My mother, and it probably would have been, Lord, around 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5. Okay. I'm gonna put that down too. And where have you seen this show up in your life? Like what would be the most I don't know how to word the question, but like, did it show up like with a marriage ending? Did it show up where, because like a marriage comes to my mind right now because there was so much of taking care of the other person that your body finally said, I can't do this anymore, which starts the fights. So where did you see this show up?
It's everywhere in my friendships, in some of my traumatic experiences, to protect somebody else. I wore whatever. Um, it definitely was in a relationship, few of them.
Hmm.
So it's probably my biggest downfall.
So, like I said, with every downfall, there's also it's a two-edged sword. So there's also strength in there. Our pain can literally become our strength. So there's always a lesson in there. And that's that shadow work, right? If we don't go in and have that conversation of, like, for me, the positive things I can see with you is you're very caring. You are putting people's needs in front of yours. You're not selfish, you're selfless, right? But what we're asking for is like pulling that back a little bit. Like, where can you fight for yourself the same way you fight for everyone else? So I need to make sure everyone else feels safe, even if it costs me my own safety, right? Is what you're saying in one way or another. And the core wound is, like I said, at some point, you learn that your safety depended depends on other people's comfort. And you're saying mom showed you that too. So if they were calm, you were safe. If they were upset, or angry or withdrawn or chaotic, in any way unpredictable, you were in danger. So, what did your nervous system do? I'm going to learn to make sure everybody else feels safe so that I feel safe. So there's a rhyme to your reason there. It makes sense, especially from a child perspective. Like that makes total sense, right? So your nervous system built a job for you. It said, hey, Amy, you're going to be the peacekeeper. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to be the good girl. You're never going to get in trouble because that will also keep peace. Be the emotional cushion for everyone while you're at it. Like, let's make sure we're everybody's emotional cushion. Be the one who absorbs the tension so no others have to. That's going to be your job. Okay, Amy? That's what your nervous system literally learned. And this actually wasn't kindness. It was your survival. That's how you learn to survive. And that's what I mean when we're saying, okay, nervous system, this is survival mode. I'm moving to thriving mode. So, how it secretly controls you, I can bet anything you can scan a room as soon as you walk in, and your attention lives, outside of yourself automatically. It's never looking within. It's going outwardly automatically. And you read everyone's cues, everyone's tone of voice, the micro expressions, because you're anticipating threat. Your nervous system is ready for threat. I've given this example when I looked at this one for myself, how I did it, and maybe this will help you, is it's like we have a knob to like a radio to get all this information, and we have it on full blast. And I'm just going to tell you, you actually are in control of that knob. So you can start turning that knob down and start trusting your nervous system is going to let you know when there's danger, if there's an absolute emergency, that we don't need to live at a level 10 all the time anymore. So if you start working on moving it backwards, and you can try, just go to a 9. Just go to a 9 one day and see what that feels like. So maybe you're standing in line, right? And someone stands behind you and you feel all of a sudden like, for me, it's like almost like I have wings on my back that get really heavy, like my shoulders start hurting. And I will notice my heart rate will go up. And what I'm doing is I'm picking up on the person behind me, just I don't feel safe around. So I'm like, thank you, body, for letting me know, because it's really your body telling you that. And it's doing its job, by the way. It's doing a great job. But when we call it out loud, we say, oh, thank you for letting me know. What solution? How can I regulate this right now? How can I turn that 10 down to a 9? First, let me examine what is making me feel scared. So maybe I'll tune in to what's going on. Oh, they're fighting with their kids right now and they feel very overwhelmed. Okay, so that's really not danger, but their energy is definitely affecting my energy right now. So, do I want to maybe let them go in front of me? Because maybe if I let them go in front of me, right, then they can get the drinks done, the mom can calm down better, and then I can have my time by myself without stressing, right? Or maybe I can just tune them out by putting my headphones on and getting into my own zone. There's different ways to regulate, and that's a way that you're turning down that knob, right? But if you tune into it and you're like, this guy is not safe, or this person is not safe, I'm out of here, then listen to it. But slowing down and figuring out which way we're reacting is what you're going to teach your nervous system, because it's not doing the wrong thing. You have just learned to stay at a level 10 versus being at like a level 5. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
I see wheels turning. So is there a thought there? No?
There's lots of, but I'm going to put them all in words first.
I get you. And that's why I want you to make sure. That's why we do these groups. That's why I love, our membership. For $35 a month, we get these you don't even have to do a session. You can come to the group, you can do the class, and it's giving you all this extra material to start working on independently, But on top, we give you those discounted sessions too, so you can work with us to dive even deeper if you need support. But this is where I want you to go with this, to start examining and watching yourself. That's emotional intelligence, having awareness around it. Okay. You also became responsible for emotions that weren't yours. So you apologize for discomfort. Nikki is the king of this one. And I'm sure if you guys have been watching for a while, he's the one who did it to me too. Is saying, why do you apologize for everything? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, literally, that lady bumped into you, and you're like, oh, sorry. And I was like, and so when I got the awareness around that, then I started feeling guilty for saying sorry all the time too. And then I had to talk to myself in that space too and go, well, no, we're not guilt tripping ourselves. We're having awareness. Oh my God, I do that a lot. How can I improve? You know what? I caught it faster that time, or I caught myself about to say sorry. And then I changed it to, oh, excuse me, right? Excuse me is not, I don't need to apologize for anything. I can just say, excuse me. I'm like, wow, that energetically, I just like watched you too, Amy, like, oh, it energetically feels different, right?
Mm.
All you're doing is awareness and changing that. Because you fix things that aren't always broken too, because you're predicting again all the time. So how can you take that pressure away, so that way, sometimes people are going to fall, sometimes people also, maybe the lady who ran into me should have said sorry to me because she wasn't paying attention, right? Give her an opportunity to be accountable, which helps that person grow. We just weren't taught these things when we were younger. Again, that pencil versus the hammer. You probably attract people too, when you make yourself the emotional anchor for them. Like that was my thing too. I'm sure I see Lillian on your head. Like everybody comes for you with your comfort. That's like my story with the other day. I'm like, you know what? There's a Taco Bell. Why don't you go sit and learn to regulate and comfort yourself right now? Because it is not my job. It is not my responsibility at this moment to calm you down. Right now, my responsibility is I'm a mother and my daughter is going in for her 15-month-old checkup. And I want to make sure that she's hitting all her markers. And if there's anything I need, that's where my attention's going right now. So I love you. Go sit down. Maybe you need some food. Maybe just, blood sugar's off, whatever, but have some alone time. And then I would love to further this conversation with you later when you're ready and you're calm. Those are my boundaries, right? And it was a great conversation later. It's okay to disappoint people in those spaces because that's going to stop, you're going to get the people like, I just don't want to be around you anymore. Remember, that's a blessing because you don't really want them around, even if it's family. Like if that person is constantly draining your battery, like if this was your phone, would you keep your phone over there so the battery keeps dying, or would you go get a new phone? Or would you stop leaving it around that because it drains your battery and you need your phone? Right? Why are we so good at doing it for everyone else but ourselves? So this is what you're teaching your nervous system. We're doing it for us, right? We're learning how to sit in it and be okay with it too. Um, and then, another thing I think of is you probably exhaust yourself into resentment. You give beyond your capacity, right? You only have 100% in your battery and you're giving like 300%, which when I started thinking that way, I'm like, where am I pulling this energy from? Oh, it's probably from like my organs and like, my essence. Like it makes me think of like Hocus Pocus when she's like, like sucking it out. Like people are I'm like, I know this is mine. I need to keep this. Okay. And so That's also where, this often when I'm working with clients, I see this because I saw it within myself as well. You confuse love with self-sacrifice. Well, I did that because I love them. Because if you're not giving, you feel useless. If you're not fixing, then you feel unworthy. If you're not carrying everyone, you feel guilty. You don't know how to receive without feeling like you owe something back. That's what I was sharing my story. My mom is the queen of this. Mom, you're going to get a freaking gift for Christmas and you're going to accept it. You understand? And she was like, fine. That's right. You take it because we love you. You let that sit there. I'll see you later. Love you. Like she's gonna go sit and ponder about it for a little bit. But I see my mom working. I had to work on it too. Like I love giving everybody else gifts, but whenever people would give me a gift, I didn't know what to do. It was like because there was a part of me that didn't think I was worthy. That somebody loved me and somebody thought of me. Somebody cared about me. Now I really sit with that emotion, even if it's a gift I'm not really sure how I'm going to use. But the part is that they thought about me. They took the time and they picked something out and they thought I deserved something. And I appreciate that now. Learn how to receive. Okay. So I'll send you more notes on that. Is there any thoughts you have?
Nope, you can move on.
Okay. She's like, please. All right. Your turn, Lilia.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you said that, there was three things actually that came up. One was the one that you said. The second one was that I share sometimes because I'm not. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I can't be quiet. Like when everybody just gets quiet, I'm like, I gotta break the ice, you know. But the third one that really bothers me is that I make jokes right after I say something important. Like if I'm
Mm,
trying to get my point across, something is bothering me, and I'm trying to communicate that, and then I just devalue it all by making a joke and making light of it, and that bothers me more than like the other stuff, you know.
Did you see anybody else in your life that did that?
Um, yeah.
Who was that?
I would say my mom and my husband, they do that.
So you notice I said mother wound is coming up with the when I do the astrology, and
Yeah,
Amy, you said, "Oh, my mom did that," and my mom did that, and I'm bringing up what my mom did, and I want to hear you too, Rach.
yeah.
So that's in the air right now, and that means we have
Hmm.
an opportunity to look at it, not to shame mom, not to shame ourselves, but
Yeah,
look at the pattern, look at what we can heal, what we can work on, that we have an opportunity here.
yeah.
So making jokes, Nikki and I, it's funny because my family is very Scottish and sarcasm is like our love language. And when Nikki came into our family, he had a really hard time with sarcasm because his mom used it in a really negative way, like really mean. Where there is a fine line, right? Like it could move over there, but
Hmm.
there's also just like it's part of our family culture. Like,
Yeah,
and for you, Amy, it's when I go back to my family in New Glasgow in Nova Scotia, like it's like a full like Scottish
yeah.
moment of like, oh, we're back in this sense. And it took me a while to like catch on to it, but it's still where
Hmm.
is the line, right? Nikki brought this to my attention because I just thought sarcasm was sarcasm and making a joke around it.
Yeah,
And he started questioning me in spaces of like why are you laughing at that? That's pretty serious. And it took me a while. And again, I still like because of my culture, I still believe that there is like fun areas where you can have that sarcasm and joke, but like
yeah,
what you're saying and catching that, it has like everything to do with your self-esteem. It's
yeah.
basically like if I was working on your chakras right now, I would be going straight to that throat chakra. Even
Hmm.
talking to you right now, I can feel the where it almost feels raspy and
Hmm.
kind of like burning.
Yeah.
So I would want to track that in your Reiki field. I would want to go down to your heart chakra because usually we have a clog. It's
Mm-hmm.
the way I like to explain it. So like if our chakras are a pipe, right? And we got the root chakra and then we got the sacral chakra, and we got the third chakra, the heart, the throat, and we keep going up to the crown. A lot of times if it's blocked here, that's not the actual block. It's actually further down.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to lead down to the heart, and that's where it could be, where you were disappointed or you were a disappointment to people when you spoke. So when people didn't receive you the way, like, it's funny, I was watching this little girl last night at a restaurant, and we were at a Christmas lighting and everything, and we went to go eat afterwards, and the little girl was all hyped up from the hot cocoa and the stars, and then her dad went to go take the silverware from her, and she pulled it back, and then he goes, "Give it to me," and then she starts laughing. And but she was in a playful manner, right? She was like, "Oh no, it's mine." Like she was wanting just to play with dad. Like I could see it in her eyes. I could see the way
Yeah.
she was lighting up. Like, oh, dad's playing with me. Like we're playing tug of war. But dad's eyes were like, "You little brat, give this to me," right? Like he was stressed out. He was overwhelmed. And you as a child probably had situations like that. And again, this is where we want to look at our culture, especially you brought
Yeah.
up Russia, right? Like I've never been to Russia, but I have met several Russian people in my life, and I see that very seriousness
Yeah.
like thing. I don't know if that's truly a culture thing, like you will know better in that, but
Yep.
that like everything is very serious. And when
Yep.
I'm looking at you as a little girl and like because I'm tuning into your energy and I'm seeing like again with that throat chakra and heart, I see kind of that same little girl in you where you're like, I just want to have fun and I
Yeah.
just want to connect. Let's make this light, everybody. And they're like, like and that's where you're like, am something wrong with me? And that's what I want you to look at, right? There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I always,
That's beautiful that you are able to bring laughter and beauty. But yes, I want you to look at the spaces of where, no, I'm serious about this. And now I don't know how to be serious because I'm afraid of what I'm going to get in return.
yeah. Yeah. I
Does
did
that make sense?
by accident. I mean well, but then it comes out wrong. You know?
So do you want to give us an example? Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, like at work, this happened at work not too long ago. That I brought up on the issue that they are overworking only certain people at work, and not everybody's putting in the same effort. And then I made a joke after that,
Mm,
and I
What was the joke?
mentioned to myself. I just kind of meant to deter it from myself. Like I don't even remember the joke right now, but it was really bothering me because it was just the three girls and we were always doing work of five men, and then we have seven other men in our team and they don't do nothing, all day long, and they play like incompetent. So it really, really bothered me. So I really wanted to speak on that. And then I just ruined it by making some kind of a joke. I swear I don't even remember the joke because I hated myself like a moment after I did that, you know?
So that hating yourself too is even connected to that self-worth, right? So instead of hating yourself, I want you to practice going, okay, I just took down what I really felt because I was nervous of how people were going to see me.
Yeah.
I need to be more confident because like again, like as you're telling me the story, it makes sense. Like if somebody's not stepping up and doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's
Mm-hmm.
a serious issue. That's probably holding the whole team behind and people going, well, I didn't understand. Then why didn't you ask a question? Right? These are serious things.
Yep.
And to me, it's like that part of you being seen too, because this one hits every woman, I think, that ever learned that we're too much, we're, dangerous, like when we speak our minds and stuff like that. So you learn that your seriousness, pain, depth, or truth like really made other people uncomfortable. If you think about it, it's just about their uncomfortable part, which is kind of similar to like what we were just talking with Amy. And so your body is actually creating a reflex. Say the truth, then soften it so that nobody gets upset. And so this laughter is not humor in this space, and you'll learn the difference because I bet you're also really good at lightening up the mode with a joke when people need it. And that can be a very positive thing. So start practicing like, oh, is this when I need to stay serious? Or is this where it's good to like lighten things up and help people just breathe for a second? Because otherwise you're using it as a shield. So please don't reject me. Please don't think I'm dramatic. Please don't, please stay with me. Don't leave me. Don't fire me. Please don't explode. Please don't, leave in general. So you're allowed to control the outcome. And then you feel unseen because like you're training people to think that you aren't serious.
Yeah, I know. And I hate that.
And it like well, I don't want you to hate it. I want you to start loving it. I want you to start giving that love back to yourself of like, wow, I really don't want people to see my serious side. And I
Mhm.
think that is true. I mean, I want you to dig deeper, but I'm going to ask you some questions with that. But like, I think that is connected to your culture of like how much it hurt you when they were serious,
Yeah, very true.
where there's no room for mistakes and everything's got to feel perfect and in its place. And your little soul was like, no, I don't align with this. And so you're on a journey to find what you are aligned with no like, book to tell you what steps to take, which then just puts you in the same category with all of us on that journey, right? This is what you're meant to find out this lifetime. You're meant to see what it feels like when you're serious and people take you seriously and they respect you for that. But you also know what it feels like to be happy and to spread joy and spread love and give people that calmness and yourself. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
like
be surprised if you have air signs in your chart.
I'm an Aquarius.
It is.
I I
That
like
one most of all. That one most of all, Aquarius is the chameleon. You can play the part for anyone in front of them. You literally have access to all the other signs' energy. If everybody's red in the room, you will know how to be red and you can be red. But
that's
guess what? You also can be green in a red room. You could be
yeah.
bright yellow if you want. And you can challenge the whole room and learn to have fun with that too.
Yeah, I
And it
have
could
to
be with your humor or it could be with your seriousness. Start playing with it because it's actually your tool. And people will like, wow, she just sees things in a different way. That's amazing. There will be people that are attracted and love that part about you.
yeah,
And
you
there's
get
nothing wrong with it at all.
I like that. Thank you. I like
Of
to
course.
outside the box. I do like that a lot.
Yes, good. And I'll give you more questions when I send you the email here shortly. You'll get it in the next like 30 minutes when I get off. I'll sit and think a little bit more deeply with it and then I'll get you those questions so you could track that down a little bit more, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. And then before we wrap up, Rach, did you want to share yours?
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me, it's explaining myself after I say no. And I get that's a big freaking thing for me because when I was a kid, every time I would say no to my mom, she would give me shit for it. She would yell at me. Um, Other situations in my life, like sexual assault and stuff like that, is no. It was yes anyways.
Mm.
And I've been through relationships like that too with narcissistic people. They don't like the word no. It has to be yes. And if you don't give a reason, even if you do give a reason, you're still gonna argue. But like, you know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's like one of my biggest things. Like just earlier, like people see me with my earphones on. You think that when you see someone with their earphones, they're not going to come up to you and try, hey, how's it going? Trying to have a conversation.
Trees. Yeah.
Somebody just did it to me earlier. He just did. And I told him, I said, I'm sorry, but I can't talk to you right now. I'm in my course. I have to work on that though. I didn't have to tell him what I was doing. I gave him the reason why I couldn't talk to him. I just realized that like on my way out. Yeah. That's it. Every time I would say no, it had to be yes. And if like, and then even my mom was like, well, you're always saying no. Well, I'm saying no because I don't want to. Like, if I don't want to go to my grandparents' place, if I don't want to go to my uncle's, if I don't want to go to the store, I don't want to go. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, even still today, like she still is looking for an answer every time I say no. Even if I say yes, she's looking for an answer. She wants to know the reason all the time. And it still gets to me. Like I'm still trying to figure out like how this is how I'm gonna stop explaining myself. It's very difficult. Like I'm taking conscience. Like how can I say this? And this is the thing. And when you're bilingual, I have like French language and the
Oh yeah.
English language at the same time. Like
I get you. My family is from Nova Scotia. My grandmère is French, and so she's down in Digby area, and her family's pure French. And then up on the upper side is the Scottish side. But yes, the language barrier when the brain is like, "What word?" Imagine this. I get
like
it.
yeah, it's
No
like in one
judgment
sentence you
here.
can put both languages.
Right. I know when I was like 12 years old, my cousin was like he mixes English with French, so like instead of saying la maison, he's like la house, and my grandma was like,
La,
it's not a house. She just started yelling at him in French. And like, but then I would like people because if I'm not, my grandma always spoke French to us, so I understand the gist of it, but it was always responding that I had harder times with. But I actually preferred with my cousins because then I would start putting the words together faster and like blending it too. But yeah, that part is a big part. So I wrote down, I explain myself after I say no. So the real origin here, your mother trained you that a no from you was not valid unless it came with a reason, is what you said. She didn't take your boundary as a boundary. She took it as a challenge and inconvenience really to her and disrespect. And this one is a huge one. Again, when like I was saying, I look at Pluto's and the generations. Most of us came from either like your mom's probably
they're
in
like
the silent generation. I don't know, the phone broke, it's freezing. I'm just going to assume she's from the silent generation. And so that is like, keep your mouth shut. I don't want to hear anything. Be in your place. You are to be seen and you're not heard. And that, like, they were born under a Virgo Pluto, right? Very perfect. Everything must be in its order. Like, I watched my
I
grandma from
know.
the silent generation, and we're just getting together for like a picnic, and she comes with her pearls and everything all put together. And I'm like, we're all here in our jeans. Some of us are in sweatpants. And she has her beautiful dress. She has her nails done. Her hair is perfect. And I'm like, that is the silent generation, right? That's how that Virgo energy is there. Like they have to have everything in a perfect place and everything. Don't you argue. Don't you try to take over the control, right? And then you see when it goes into the Pluto under Leo, which is the boomers, right? We see more of excuse me, it's the other way around. Libra, they went into Libra. That Libra energy was asking for balance, right? It's asking for wanting to see like both sides. And so we see the baby boomers who, yes, they were born on a Pluto Virgo, but like the Pluto that they're also in their 20s in, I think is a huge look at it of this is where we see the boomer generation split. You got the boomers that are very much like the silent generation. They always dress nicely. Everything's got to be in order. Everything's got to be in place. And then you have the boomers that are the hippies. That's when the hippies came out. Peace, love, no war. And it's fascinating to look at that, but that's that Libra energy, right? The scales where things were starting to shift. And so, you, Rachel, I know you were born under Pluto Libra, and then you were raised more in the Scorpio era to question, no, absolutely not. Like, and so that energy to your mom's energy field is like, what are you talking about? Explain yourself. And so just looking at it simply from like that perspective, I think is a huge concept too, because your nervous system learned no equals conflict, no equals rejection. And I'll put these in your notes too. No equals integration, no equals danger. You are not allowed to simply choose. You had to justify your choice. And so when you try to do it the other way, like what you were just saying, like, no, sorry, I can't talk to you, instead of just and walking off, right? Like, or you not explain, just showing them around the headphones, like, and leaving it there, your nervous system's like, oh my God, you got to explain, you got to tell them why, because if we don't, we're going to get in trouble. And if we get in trouble, then this is going to, and that's where I'm saying we're going to talk to that nervous system now and go, no, that's the old pattern. That's my survival mode. I'm going to thriving mode. It's okay. They can throw fit. They can be in a mood. They can be upset because I'm not talking to them right now. They're totally allowed to feel that way. I would probably feel that way, right? If I had a question and somebody couldn't answer me at the moment, I might be a little offended, but I get over it. I move on, and so will they. So your body, like the way that I see that this controls, your body expects backlash, even when the person in front of you is absolutely safe. You're not going to be able to tell the difference until you really start adjusting this more, because your inner child is bracing for that mom's reaction. And like you said, all the other ones that I've given you example, but mom is probably the most optimate one right now. So
Yeah, but it's with my son, like when I tell my son no, I feel like I have to absolutely explain to him because he's 16.
And I was going to say, sometimes that's where we make the compromise, right? And that's where we're talking still to our nervous system. I'm explaining myself. I'm not feeling guilty about this right now. I'm explaining because my job is to teach my son. So when I explain things to him, it's helping his nervous system relax so he understands, and this is how he learns. That might be okay. But also sometimes, like even with my kids, why are you saying no? I want to do it. Bottom line. And I can see where my parents got this from. Bottom line, I said no. There's no more explanation behind this. The answer is no. Move on. And I'll watch my kids. But I also know my kids are the reason when I do that, I know they know the reason already, that they're trying to manipulate and push. Like we had you might have been on the live, because I know I saw you on a couple of the lives where I brought that mom on, and she was talking about how her son, who doesn't want to be around her, never talks to her, calls her and is like, oh hey, I want you want to get a puppy with me, let's share a puppy. And she's like, I don't want a puppy. I can't have a puppy at my apartment. You know this. Oh, come on. We could get a puppy together. We'll share. We'll go 50-50. And then she finally says, what do you want? Because that tells me there's a part of her that knows she's being manipulated right now, that he wants something. And so this whole conversation about sharing a puppy was never really the purpose. So she cut right through. What do you want? I really want this puppy. I want this French dog. And she goes, so then I was like, I saved $500 up for his graduation, and he never called me and didn't be around me, but I still had it. So I thought I'll just give it to him for this so he can go get that puppy. So he gets the puppy, he calls her, shows her the pictures, and she's like, oh, my grandpuppy. And then she's like, can I see him? And he goes, yeah, you can see her whenever you want. 3 months later, she has not seen that puppy, and she has not seen her son. And she goes, I don't know why I couldn't just say no. And it's because of the guilt. It's the guilt that's running that shadow, that guilt wound.
But it's also like, I don't know if your parents were like that, but mine too. Like, I would ask them, like, they would say no. I would ask them something and they would say no. And I would ask them why. And they said, because I said so.
Yes. And what does that
Because
create?
I said so.
Because I said so. And that's why I'm saying with your kids, that's why you are explaining. That's a positive thing, because you know how it helped calm your nervous system when you had answers. So just like I said to Lilia, like this is a double-edged sword, right? It's not, there's the bad part where people like you over explain maybe. But there are probably people in your life that do need an explanation to understand why the answer is no. It's about you feeling confident in that no. And ciphering like, this one's going to need explanation versus like the one that you just said where the person was trying to talk to you. That one probably didn't need explanation. It's you just learning the difference. There's nothing wrong here. It's you going, which one is which? Okay, this person's bugging me and I clearly have my headphones on and I'm not participating here. I'm just going through life. They don't need an explanation. Quiet. Not even a word. You don't even have to say no.
But that's a lot. That's practice. That's practice. And it's to not feel bad. It's to not feel bad for like not explaining, like, where it's like, I don't feel like it. I should just say I don't feel like it, turn around, walk away, or whatever. Like,
but challenge
what I
the
was
guilt.
doing.
So when you go, like, say you're going like this with the headphones, right? And the guilt comes up, go, and then talk to it. Literally just talk to yourself. I feel guilty right now because I don't want that person to feel bad, but are they really going to feel that bad? Are they even going to remember this 2 days from now? Are they going to be like, oh my God, that lady didn't even tell me why she didn't want to talk to me. How rude. I bet you 10, 15 minutes later, that person's not even going to even think about it. They're going to be thinking about ice cream or seeing their friend or something. Like, it did not wreck their day. So when you look at it from that perspective, it can help calm that guilt. So, oh, they're going to be fine. They'll be fine. Because it's that part of you wanting to take care of and fix people as well, because it wasn't taken care of or fixed for you. But you are taking care of it now. You are fixing it. And yes, you explain yourself. Let's say this pins to explain yourself. What we're going to do now is make categories. Which ones go on this side of I should. My son, if he's having an emotional breakdown and he really wants something and he's so passionate that he can't see why I'm saying no, it may take some more time for me to sit down and explain to him because I want him to feel seen. I want him to feel heard, but I also want him to respect my boundaries. That one might take a little more time. The guy on the bus or wherever you were, that was trying to talk to you with the headphones on, he doesn't need, that goes on this category. No explanation, no guilt. They're not even going to remember it, a couple hours or 2 days from now. Like, they're not going to be on their deathbed and be like, wow, that lady, she didn't even give me an answer of why she couldn't talk to me. Like, I can't get over it, right? Like, put it in categories and start seeing where explanation is safe and where it's not needed. And start feeling peace with that. And that it's going to be a practice, but the consciousness, the awareness around that should start bringing more peace. And I feel the more you get comfortable with that, you're going to notice people reacting faster too. So like the guy comes up and you go, and he's like, and he walks off, right? There was no guilt, nothing. And you're like, oh, you see it. You're like, wow, I was confident about that. I knew what I wanted. I knew they didn't need it. And they responded. Right. Or maybe it's somebody who wanted something from you and you said no, and they're originally upset, but then they come back to you, it frustrated me that you said no, but because you said no, I went and did this, and then I found this out, and oh my God, it was so good. And you're like, oh, my no actually helped you. That's amazing. Right. Like when my mom, I think I've told you this example before too, but when I told my mom, no, I'm not responding to your text messages and I'm not talking to you right now, taking time for myself. And then she called and left a message because of you, because you're not talking to me right now. I went off on my boss today, because I've been doing 3 people's jobs and he wanted everything from me. And I told him, you know what? If you want me to do all these jobs, you're either going to need to give me a raise or you need to hire people that are supposed to do these jobs. And I can't believe I spoke to my boss that way. Granted, I'm getting a raise and they're hiring new people on top of it. So I guess that's good, but it's all your fault because I talked back to my boss today. I was like, Mom, and that got me to text her back. I said, I am so proud of you. I'm so glad you spoke up for yourself. That's all I said. But it came from me saying no to her. She went and stood up for herself. She went and spoke her truth. And I also got to take care of myself at the same time by me saying no. So the more you see examples like that start showing up in your life, I guarantee you'll start feeling more confident with your no, and people will respond. Because when you have an argument in your head about it, people sense that. So it's almost like a crack that they can get into. Yeah. So if you eliminate the argument, then they're gonna just know. It's a fact. There's no other conversation about it. And they will naturally walk off and go figure out what they need. And it, like, I believe in contracts with everything and everyone in your life. You never know. That contract may have been there for you to literally tell them no, so they can go learn to stand up for themselves, or they can go learn to do the work by themselves. It might actually become your power tool. And I guarantee the more you practice, like which category does it belong, you will get faster and faster at it. Just like learning a new, skill. Yep. It's just about practice. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's not a horrible thing. It's just learning how to use that tool.
It's like the most annoying thing ever. It's like I said earlier, like with the earphones, I'm walking, like, do you not see me walking with earphones?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you talking to me? People constantly do that. It's like because I feel so disrespected.
That is it. It is connected to your self-worth and your self-respect. So because people haven't noticed you in a lot of areas, it all adds up to that space. So it makes total sense that's why you're reacting. Like my mom would do the same thing. I'd be sitting there and watching TV and she'd come in. So what you doing? I'm watching TV. Like,
what does it look like?
I mean, what am I doing?
What do you think?
Yeah. So,
sit down.
Yeah, like you want to join me? Like, or are you saying that because you want to have a conversation with me right now? Like, what is your true method here? Right? Just call it out. And so, yeah, but I found, again, part of our emotional intelligence, when we go through the awareness and then we go through how to regulate it, which we are just talking about how we're going to regulate it when that no comes up. All right, regulation is, what category is this going in? Do I need to explain myself? Is there a reason that would be helpful for them and for myself? Or is there no reason at all for me to explain? I just need to stick with it. And when the guilt comes up, we're like, it's okay, guilt. That's our old pattern. We're not doing that anymore. There's no need to feel guilty. That's why we're doing this class that's coming up, the parenting, like learning to parent yourself. Right? That's you parent. That's what your mom should have said to you all the time, the whole time.
Is that still going to be on on Friday? I don't know if there's going to be room.
There's a couple, actually, I don't know where my notepad went. I might have taken it in my room, but I had the dates written down. But there's, I guess I could look real
'Cause I would like
fast.
to participate to that one and the other one with the the one-on-one coachings.
Yes.
I wanted to participate to that one and the parenting one, but I can only do that, like I can only pay for it Friday. So I was wondering if you guys are still gonna have
Well, you
space.
have it with the membership. And so,
Because I know I don't I deactivated my Facebook
oh,
um
okay.
temporarily.
I-
So yeah, I had to do that for myself because people start looking into my stuff.
Oh.
No friggin' way. So
So the first class we have for that one is on Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you could join that one. And then I also have my astrology class from 5 to 7 that I don't know if you're going to come to that one. I try to make like double dates for everything. The next class after that is, sorry, I'm going through my actual calendar to see where people have signed up, is Monday the 15th. So there's a
okay.
1 to 3 p.m. class, Pacific Standard Time. I'm telling you guys right now, so transfer it to your time. And then there's also a 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time class on Monday the 15th. And I'll send these dates to you. So if you see one of these that work best for you, I can just move you into that class.
Okay.
So as members,
I'm,
you guys don't have like to
please.
like if you're like, oh shoot, I can't make it to that class, I can tell you what other classes are open and I can move you to that one and you'll get an email with the Zoom and everything too. So just let me
Oh,
know.
okay, yes, please.
Because
Yes.
the next one after that, and again, I'll send these dates too. The next one is Wednesday the 17th, from 1 to 3 p.m. And then I think we have one more. Or it might be my astrology class. Oh yeah, the last one will be the 20th from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's our last one because then we're taking a 2-week vacation with all our family and
Okay.
yes, and taking time to just like relax and everything. But we'll send you guys out the email around January 1st, about all the classes for January and everything too. So oh, you're fine, Lilia. So yeah, I'll send those dates and just email me back which one works best for you. And I'll just put your email in on it and then you'll get an email with the Zoom and everything. And then,
Thank
again,
you.
just also remember if you guys are like, oh, it's too busy, Christmas, holidays or whatever, it's recorded. It'll be in the drive and then you can go listen to it too. And the worksheets will be there. So that's why we created that drive because we know we can't always make it, but then at least you could go listen to it audibly and walk around and ignore people and oh sorry, in a class.
I just love it.
Yes, we do.
That's why I put
It's my
these
favorite.
on
Mm-hmm.
because people know me so much in this town. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you guys. I don't give a shit. Like I'm doing my thing. That's why I'm in hermit mode because there's a lot of things that have happened to me this year where it put me to where, you know what? I'm done. I am done with these people. And now I sense the rest of them and I know who they are and I don't want to talk to them.
And you're making those
That's it.
boundaries and we're gonna stick to it.
Yeah,
And
like
because you need
I
it.
don't have any friends, Jen. I have no friends. I have no friends. I don't talk to my family anymore because that was, and I just like recently went through that, worked with one bad idea. Anywho, it was a lesson. It's
Yeah,
a
there you
lesson.
go. Good catch.
So everybody, I don't talk to any, my son, my mom, that's it.
When I did that in my life too, it's painful and it does feel like you're all alone. But the deeper you get in this and you go into that hermit mode and you let your body, like what you're really doing is giving your body an opportunity to finally breathe and start sorting and organizing your emotions
Peace,
and what am I keeping?
peace.
What am I getting rid of? Peace. So that right there, you are not alone. There are many people doing that with you too. And that's why I love that vibe when you're in that space, because then what happens when you come out of it, there will be a shift. I'm telling you, March, April next year, for all of us that have been in this year of like, okay, what else? Like, I got down one point and I was like, that is enough. I get it. I'm letting go of control. I get that's what you want from me. I surrender. No more test. Okay. Like that, a lot of us went through that, which tells me you've been doing your work. You've been doing
I'm
your
still
work.
working on it. I had to get another book. I had no more room. I used all the pages. Like I keep going back and forth. And that's what I love TikTok for, because people were telling me, and my mom too, like they're telling me, TikTok's not good, Rochelle. Like there's all kinds of crap in it. I said, you know what?
They're not
Thanks
aware.
to TikTok, I get to choose
Mm-hmm.
who I want to listen to and who I
Yeah.
don't, with who I want to interact with, who interests me and who doesn't.
Exactly. Yes.
I don't have to interact with these people, but I can get to know them by listening to their content, listening to what they have to say, because they do live. So I get to really see these people
Yes.
for who they are, and compare in a way of like, okay, were the people that I was hanging around with, and these are the people that I would hang around with that
Yes.
are not part of my circle.
Yeah, and seeing the patterns within that too. Oh, wait, this person's saying that. This person's saying that. There must be something for me to pay attention to here. And I'm just so excited for you because, again, like I told all of you guys at the beginning of last year, hold on to your panties. It's gonna be a year. I wasn't expecting it this deep either, but it was, and it took out all of the stuff that we've been still kind of just holding on to. And like I said, this next 3 months is gonna be the last part of that. So like my advice is just like, all right, I surrender. Like the quicker I go, I surrender, I feel that wall. I'm like, I'm not going to fight anymore. There's no need, because I learned the quicker I fight, let go of that fight and remove myself from that wall, I breathe, I give myself time, and I turn around. I'm like, oh, there's the door. Like it was right there.
Like, what was it? 3 weeks ago, on the 17th of November, I used to work for my cousin in a pet store. So I was doing her job. I was manager of the store.
Mm-hmm.
I was also taking care of animals. So we were selling animals as well,
Oh my
taking care of
goodness.
them, doing sales, all that stuff. She paid me minimum wage for doing her job. So I told her that, right now, yes, I'm gonna keep working here, but I'm looking for another job because this isn't paying enough and I'm doing your job.
Boundary.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, she's my cousin, right? Family is supposed to be. Her partner that she's been with for all that time that she had that company over 25 years disrespected me. So I didn't go into work the next day because I didn't want to see him, and I couldn't tell, and I felt that I couldn't say anything because there was other clients in the store. She took his side, and it was all about her. So I said, you know what? I'm done. I quit. I'm not working with you anymore. And honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't have a job right now, Jen. I don't.
Well, when one door closes, another
one
opens.
opens. I have an interview on Wednesday for something else that pays more, and I get all my benefits. So whatever. Like I don't put up with anybody's disrespect.
You said no, universe, no to that side that used to, nervous system that would do less for more. You're proclaiming that to the universe. And I'm telling you, I have never been disappointed. Like even when I thought I was disappointed, like say this job doesn't work out that you're going for the interview for, something better has always come when I just let go of the control. When I really sit back, and if you sit back and think about this too, of every time you've been stuck in a hard spot, how did you get through it? Did things end up working out one way or another? Did you end up being, it does. And so the quicker you let go of that control and just do the things you can control, like, right, like filling out applications. You can make sure your resume is good. You can do your meditation and keep your nervous system calm. You can practice, your interview skills. Like, these are things that you can control. So then when the interview comes, right, you see what opportunities show up and let it, like, you might get 3 job opportunities, and then you get to look at those and go, wow, I have all these opportunities. It's all about what we're shifting our mindset to. If it's, I'm tired of being felt this way, treated this way, and that's all you're focusing on is I'm tired of feeling treated this way. I swear the universe is like a genie and it doesn't hear I'm tired. It's like, I get treated this way. I get treated this way. That's all it hears. So it just keeps handing it to you until you go, all right, I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the disrespect. I do deserve more, and I'm going to go get it. Then the universe goes, okay, you're going to get it. It's that thought. That's why I'm saying that tea time is the power. It's what is the thought?
Can't wait to read your book.
Yeah, I've been working so hard on it, and it's a workbook, and so you get to read about it first, and then it's a workbook at the end.
Cool.
So I'm almost done. I'm hoping to get it out by the new year. As long as, I'm letting go of control in those spaces. I wanted it out last summer, but life took me a different direction. And I've learned a lot as well. And I see the reasons why. And I had a lot of opportunity to go deeper, which is now transforming through my book because I'm reading through it and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to add a little bit more spice here and add a little bit more information there now that I've learned more in these areas, especially now Nikki and I are both studying to get certified in neuroplasty and like really like rewiring those neural pathways and the power behind that. And it connects directly to our emotional intelligence and this, thing that I created. So, I'm so excited to give this to you guys too. And, to wrap this up, again, the audio will be here. I'll send it to you in email. It'll also be in the Facebook group. I know you said you're not in the Facebook group, but it's just a great way to be able to go in and take it a little slower. You can pause it and go, oh yeah, that really hit me. Why did that hit me? And go through it a little bit more. And like I said, I'm always here for you guys. If you need to go a little deeper, I'm going to give you these notes today. So that way you can find time with your journal time. And, if you can't, that's why I love the subscription, because if you can't necessarily afford more than $35 a month, you have plenty stuff here to go do with journaling and getting into, these spaces and really answering those questions and honing in more to what maybe still might be holding you. And, my aunt the other day, she was telling me, she's like, I have to tell you, and I'm just going to say it bluntly to you, and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you're not all the way healed yet. And I told her, I was like, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I don't know that we ever fully ever get so-called healed, right? I feel like we find peace and we find more understanding, but like, I think Shrek said it best. Like, our emotions and everything, are like an onion, right? You peel one level and then you're like, oh, there's a whole nother level. But it's because you're open now and you're able to hear it and you realize that healing is not a threat. Healing is an opportunity. And so I'm like, bring it on. Like, okay, universe, you're shutting the door. I'm going to listen. You shut the door for a good reason. And every time I've tried to knock that door down and just, but this has to be the door, right? It's like that song, turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired. And then the angels are over there like, turn around. Like, it's that song. I laugh at it every time because you're like, oh, it's right there. Like, I'm just so focused on this that I'm closing myself off from any other opportunity. So this is always an opportunity. Healing is always there for you. And, even like Nikki was talking to, he's like, I think I'm obsessed with healing. And I was like, I think so too. And I said, remember, not everybody works on themselves every single day in this space, right? We don't always have time to. Nikki, like, it's like his obsession. Like, he could sit for hours. You guys hear him on TikToks. Like, he loves it. It's his juice, right? And it's amazing. But I also have to tell him, like, sometimes we got to put it down on the table. Think of therapy like once or twice a week for yourself, where you go into that shadow work and you dig into it, which he learns so much from it. And then he shares with you guys. That's part of his pattern. But if you're doing it every day too, it can also be draining. But there's also this part of letting go of that control, of like having the awareness, right? Like you both had an awareness today and you're going to go into it. But have you ever had one of those moments when you're not thinking about it at all, and then all of a sudden this like aha moment comes? It's because you
You're like,
released it.
oh shit.
Yes, it's because you let go of controlling how it's going to happen. It's like, you know, where's my sunglasses? Where's my sunglasses? Or where am I? Oh, they're right here, right? It's right there. You've always had
They're
the
on your
answer.
head.
Yes, exactly. And I was just watching Stranger Things, and I'm not gonna spoil anything if you guys watch it, but the new season, like Robin, that's what she's talking to him about. She's like, Will, you've always had the answers. The power has always been inside
Yep.
you. And it, like, I still think the underworld and Stranger Things represents our mind and how
Yep.
we get lost in our, because think about, I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things, Rachel, but like there's a mind
I
flayer.
have, yeah.
Yeah, so the mind flayer is feeding off of their negative thoughts.
Yep.
That's the victims he goes and
I
gets.
never understood it though. So that's what it's, yeah.
That's the way I see it as a shaman,
Yep.
anyways. I'm like, all these vines and stuff, that's like the brain, the neural pathways and stuff, right? They're all interconnected, and we're all interconnected too. Our energy is connected that way too. But like, that's the only way the mind slayer is getting power, right? And even my theory with Vecna, right? Vecna did not love himself, did not think he had value, right? And the mind slayer was able to use Vecna as its number one power source. If Vecna learns to love himself and takes his power back, which I have an inkling, we still have Christmas and New Year's to wait for the
Yeah.
season finale, but I have a feeling Vecna might get that look he had in the new season where he's scared to go into that cave. I'm like, oh, we're going in the cave. This is like me and my clients. We're going in. I always tell you guys to find your cave when we go in the shadow world, right? And sometimes it's like, you know, a spiraling hole of water or something. People have different things, but it's usually a cave that my clients find. It's the subconscious. There's something hiding in there, and we get to go have a conversation, and we think it's a big beast. That's why I love using Beauty and the Beast as an example too. Like the beast thinks he's this big, ugly thing and horrible. Why would anyone want to love me? But when he dropped that and he was like, screw it, I'm just going to put on my best outfit and go out there and see what she does, Belle falls in love with him. For him. Not for the way he looks, but for him. We all have that power inside. We are the answer. When we find that peace and we lose the guilt wounds and we lose all these things that have been powering us in the shadows, right? In the underworld, when we start playing that music, getting in our zone, loving ourselves, feeling those vibes, look how everything changes. Okay? So remember that
Big
this holiday
difference.
season, as things come up, go watch Stranger Things again and be like, oh my God, is this the underworld? But you guys got this. And just remember, everything you hate about yourself, if you go to learn to love that part too, right? Like we see that in Stranger Things too. Like when we see the people go and look at their truth, like I feel guilty, you know, like we see with Max. Max feels guilty because her brother died. She thinks that she's a part of it because she was a part of this and she wished that he would die. That's what the mind slayer is using to trap her.
Yep.
If she goes and looks at it and goes, no, my
I gotta
brother
go
had his
rewatch
own
it again.
pains. Yeah, you gotta go rewatch it. Yeah,
I gotta rewatch it again.
my brother has his own pain, right? Max is not in charge of his brother's pain. And we see that when Elle goes into the world with him and sees the memory of his mother, like in the water, and how it's like getting clouded with the other feelings of being disconnected. She left me. She didn't love me. Whatever Billy's thoughts were, right? That's how the Mind Slayer got him. And he was such a powerhouse because he had more guilt than he did love for himself. And at the very end, that's what I saw. He had love for his sister and wanted to protect her. and he sacrificed himself for that. But if he had a stronger mind game, he may have not even had to sacrifice himself, right? So get that mind game. Love yourself. Love, man, I want to say I hate myself for saying no, but I'm going to also learn to love saying no. I'm going to see how no can be my powerhouse and can create healthy boundaries for me and to make sure I have healthy people around me too who respect my no.
Yeah.
When Nikki tells me no, I respect it because there's a reason. And I want him to feel safe and comfortable too. If there's a reason I need to have a conversation with him, we can have a conversation. But if it's still no, I'm going to respect it. And I know there's always another solution. Those are the people you want around you too, Rachel. Okay. All right. So we went 44 minutes over. I'm sorry. And anyone that's listening, I hope they enjoy it. But I think this is a very important conversation. And, if people are listening to this on the Facebook account, put your comments and thoughts in so we can all talk to each other in the comments too and support each other. And thank you for all showing up. And I look forward to January's Women's March and Women's March. I formulated the whole Women's March here in our state in Nevada. I was one of the founders. So that is usually in January. So that's funny that came out. But the women, it's time for us women and all of our feminine, even if you're a man listening to this, right? It's time for that feminine energy in all of us to come in and love. We are natural lovers. So we all have masculine and feminine energy. Our feminine energy is starting to rise to all of us who've had to be so strong for all these years and stuff, right? Let's let that feminine energy come in and learn to love that part too. All right? All right. Until next time, I love you girls.
Thank you.
Of course. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
No problem.